That's not cool, man. All right. Give me uno momento, por favor. Let's see what we got here. Do, 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 do. All right, I have to figure out how to pull my chat up. All right, I think I got my chat. I don't know how to pin the link, so I might have to go to my own channel and pin the link. It's in the chat. So yeah. What is respect? Because people in the world seem to have vastly varying perspectives on what respect actually is. What's up, C-Sal? How you doing? You are totally welcome. Let's see. As a matter of fact, feel free to abuse it if someone's terrible. I know the kinds of people that you'll mod are not anyone I want to deal with anyway. Let's see. Let's put this edit video. I'm guessing I just need to copy it into the description here and update. Paste, save. All right. I don't even know how many people are watching right now. Not that I'm too worried about it. What a good stream the other night with David and everybody. Right? It was good stuff. All right. Well, okay, so I did tell Daniel I wasn't going to stream while he was going, and then he was like, "I'm going to play music while I'm gone." So I'm going to count that as him not being here, and I'm going to have an open panel. Yeah, but the thing is like he left and just left music going, so he's not there. If he opens a panel, I'll probably end this stream. I'm not trying to hurt his stream, and I definitely don't want Daniel to think I'm trying to like take his viewers at all. That's definitely not what I'm doing. I just hoping to have an open panel here and be able to chill with some people, particularly David. If David is around, I would love to hear his opinion on this. No, I don't think he would, but I did kind of make a faux pas, but then like he just left his stream go because he said he was leaving in 10 and 15 minutes. So I was like, okay. Yeah. You know what? I don't have any moderators, so if there aren't two cooler people to have as your moderators. This is in general. I just want to speak about what respect is because I think a lot of people define respect very differently. Some people are very vague about it, but I would definitely say that the people that complain the most about respect and receiving respect probably don't even really understand what respect really is. Um, Whereas, like, the most respectful people, that I know, if you disrespect them, they'll just not associate with you. People who know their value and have common sense are going to be able to step back and say, this is not what I'm rocking with. This is not who I want to deal with. So the link is in the description. It should be. Let me see. Yep. So I might actually edit the video and change it so it shows up higher. Let me actually do that. If you click more, you should be able to see it, but I'm gonna just paste it again. Yeah, David, you're a good example of that. You're somebody who, let's see. I'm doing too much. I should have had all this done. Yeah, yeah. If you're demanding people respect you, what's up, David? It's good to have you. Hopefully your mic works.
Hey, man, just making you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can, brother. You sound
No, no, man.
a little glitchy. Mm.
Yeah, I'm down
Oh,
by
hey,
the water.
Dustin, what's up?
I'm over by the harbor.
Nice, man.
We
You on
got
your phone?
Dustin in the house.
Dustin, another Dustin,
Yeah.
not our shared Dustin. Um, Keto Simple is
Oh,
one of
okay.
my keto friends. But I love this. I love what C Sal said here is
Yeah,
that
I like.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with her and Keto. They're both kind of saying the same thing.
Mm, yeah.
You can't respect's given, not or respect or demand it. Uh, Respect you're not getting. That's not respect. Like nation or
Yeah.
like subjugation.
Yeah,
And what Keto said, yeah, you must earn respect. You can't demand it.
that's
And I like
exactly
what you
right.
were saying, Jess. It made me think of me, but also most men, or not anyone can be respectable. But as you said, the more kind of like lions don't worry about what hyenas think, kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
not. So it's kind of like if you're getting offended or security, you're not.
You're breaking up a little bit. You're a little bit in the matrix.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Now you sound perfect.
I kind of,
Or
yeah, I
did
kind of finished my point.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I was just
in
saying,
one of
if
those
you have to
areas.
demand respect, then you're not probably respectable because if
Yeah.
respect is just natural.
Yeah, I was kinda thinking
Yeah.
about that. Like, I was just kinda considering that, today. Let's see, what did he say? Yeah, see, Dustin, you're so correct, my brother, here. Hold on, did that show up yet? Most people who are the most vocal and demanding respect are not usually doing anything worthy of it. One of the things about my job and, like, why I do so well at my job is my reputation in my particular career. And, you Dustin, you got it though. But, I think that for me in my career and the way I do things, I've consistently showed up for people. I've done what I promised. I'm where I'm supposed to be. No one ever has to no one ever has to, like, worry about where I am when I'm working, and I'm in a job where, like, a lot of people in my particular career could probably get away with doing not very much and still make okay money, but for me, like, my reputation means a lot to me, and just how I handle myself and I handle my work means a lot to me, and I've been consistent over the years, so I have the respect of a lot of people, but that's because I show up and I do what I tell them I'm going to do. Whereas a lot of people, um, they will they will demand respect from people. They will, half-ass things and then expect praise for half-assing. There's a lot of people out there who aren't really doing the thing but they want you to think they are, and they're the ones that protest the loudest. They're the ones that ask most often and demand respect from other people. You there, brother? I'm seeing your mic light up, but I don't hear you, but it might what is going on there? Can the audience hear David? Yeah, I tell you, Talk Studio can take a minute to get there. Yeah, I can't hear him either. I could hear him before and he was breaking up. He said he's outside somewhere. So, me and David Zealot Stem, we have hung out on a lot of open panels, and the whole respect thing, I was thinking about that, about how there are a lot of people who declare themselves experts. And it's funny just thinking about this. They declare themselves experts in religion because I hang out on a lot of religious panels, and I discuss different things with people. And it's hilarious how the people who know the least but think they know the most, and they demand respect, but people don't really go anywhere in particular to find them so that they can listen to them. These people will find a good conversation that's ongoing and drop in and try to shoehorn their whole pet thing into it all, and they are often demanding respect from other people. But the thing is like respect, like Dustin said, respect is earned. Like if people respect you, they'll show up for your streams. If people respect you, they'll listen to your ideas. They'll seek you out. How's it going, David? You got it. Let's see. I heard something.
Yeah, it's a good topic. Respect. Respect's
Yeah.
gone out the window with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're not learning it or it's just undervalued in society. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
and kind of what you were saying. If people respect you, they'll show up to your stream just in a different regard. People who are respected, like you said, people who go out of their way to help them or assist them. So now they
No, you're breaking up.
so even like family, people respected family and each other more.
Yeah.
Don't respect that, so it's all obligatory. The respect and appreciation is not there.
Yeah, and this is a good thing right here. Dustin's saying in the comments here, it's the same in the health space, and it's true. Like the thing is there's always going to be people in different spaces that they want to claim they're about it, but I think that there's a lot of differences between the people who are kind of charlatans and the people who actually deserve respect. So people who actually deserve respect, they're usually out there helping people in good faith. They're usually trying to be helpful, whereas like the people who are more of a charlatan, those people are always about gimmicks. They're always about repeating the same thing. They got their catchphrases. They wanna like rope other people into promoting them. But they miss out on the fact that you really have to do the work and know what you're talking about, because people will after a while see the lack of authenticity in what you're doing, and they won't believe you anymore. And then they're just going to, when they see you in a shared space, when they run into you somewhere, they're just going to say, this is not a serious person. This is not a person who's actually about this. This is a person who's just looking for the validation of pretending they're about this, but they're not really there. You got anything on that, brother?
Yeah, I think that's running rampant today. Kind of fake it till you make it. And another thing, do you think this is pertinent nowadays? Like, even when I was younger, people were respected in their crafts or fields, whether it be doctors or even tradesmen, because they were tenured and like experts at their. And I feel like nowadays in this economy, people would rather cheaper labor. So like that kind of the expertise and the kind of lowers naturally.
Yeah. Like you mean like kind of a specialized profession or something like
Like,
that?
like yeah.
C-Sal, you're also welcome to come on if you'd like. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it because I know you're all about respect and kind of the traditional stuff. What was that, brother?
Another thing is kind of who are respected treat people that a little less desirable people to communicate with. I don't know if that has one to go with the other, but does that make sense?
What can you
The more you
repeat it
show
for me?
respect, the more respectable you are, in a sense. People who
Well,
are respected
I don't think it's
in
just
society tend to show respect and get respect better.
yeah. I I don't think it's so much just about transactionalism because you got to realize that like there are a lot of people not super worthy of respect who will prop each other up. So they'll like back each other up. Like we see that with certain groups of people we deal with, like David. So like sometimes you'll run into like you'll have people that they don't know what they're talking about, but they all tell everyone the next person knows what they're talking about. And then that ends up kind of perpetuating things and it's inauthentic but it it definitely mimes this idea of legitimacy. Thanks for your comment, Cecil. So yeah, it definitely shouldn't be transactional at all and I think that that's the part that people miss is like everyone nowadays is so lost in the sauce about this whole idea of like following some kind of trend but I think that people naturally gravitate when they want to follow something people are going to naturally gravitate to something that's authentic, something that's consistent, and I think authenticity comes with consistency. It comes with a clear history, and I think really that's the only way to figure out if someone's for real or not, because you're going to have a lot of people that pretend and they wanna fake it till they make it, but then even if they get into a place of success, they're ultimately not going to be successful because they're not doing the actual things that warrant warrant what success is. For lack of a better words there. Oh my gosh, I'm got too much going on up there. Du, du, du. But I mean, anybody want to come on and talk about it? Just talk about the subject would be great. I mean, I feel bad for David because David wants to come up and but he's just not able. He's really been struggling with that connection, man. Let's see. Yeah, and I mean, look, you definitely shouldn't something. Let me go back to an earlier comment. Hold on. So I think these things go together. So Dustin said, "I respect people who are open about their failures and mistakes over someone who portrays themselves as perfect and I got it all figured out." You should definitely be open, but you also shouldn't be like your own opposition. And I think that some people who are naturally pretty humble are going to people who are pretty humble are sometimes going to downplay themselves. And I think we all like humility, but sometimes people who are a little more predisposed to be more humble are going to be their own opposition at the same time. But you, as a more humble person, you also don't want to become that person that's just like the opposite of who you really are, because then you're not authentic. So it's such a balancing act. But so like if you're hustling, if you're doing work, and that's kind of what I was saying, Dustin, is like if you're doing the work, if you're making things happen, if you're consistent, if you're skilled in what you do, and for me it's like some people like the guy that's really good at the thing and makes himself look even better by crowing about it. Like some people like that. Some people like a more chill um person has aptitude and is able to handle things. I think everybody has a different energy, and some people prefer one or the other, but the thing is like you can't be like this extrovert that really believes in himself and then you're just trying to play the humble game all the time, and vice versa. I think that's really the big thing, because people will not respect that. And I think for me, like, I just look at what people think respect is, and often I think mainstream, what a lot of people who don't have their stuff together think respect is they think it's like if people agree with you, if people go along. A lot of people think just like respect from other people is whether or not you can enforce your will on them, or whether or not they like cooperate with what you're trying to achieve. Because you can have somebody who is totally against you. They're trying to stop you from doing whatever you're doing, and they can still respect you immensely and they can even see you as an enemy but respect you in that. They can see you as something um that they want to fight against, and but still they have that respect for you because they know you're capable, and maybe they're capable too. So it's just interesting how respect really works, because it's not just go along, get along. What's up, Cecil?
Hola.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for letting me up here.
Of course, you're always welcome here.
Thanks. That's a very interesting topic, the respect thing, cuz
Hmm.
respect and then also it's like respect for men is, I think, a different thing than respect for women. Um and then also the topic of like how does respect translate into this online, you know what I mean, this online world of panels and live streams and chats and stuff, and then you say something in the tone that you mean it in your head and you're typing it, then people read it differently, so it's,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a lot.
Well, that actually gives me a good question of, can people respect you if they don't really know you? Like if you're pretending
Right.
to be someone else and people respect you for it, do they really respect you?
Exactly. I,
Hmm.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's not true respect. I mean, I think that, and I think that's an interesting thing that most people don't even know what it is. Like if I think there's a lot of people that walk around and they're just ready to get into a fight, and they'll take anything as disrespect because they just want to get into a fight. They've already,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Like they've already preconceived that someone's going to disrespect them, even though
Right.
that they don't realize that probably what respect really is just recognizing the qualities of what you are, those good qualities. Like me, I'm very hardworking. I try to downplay my achievements, especially at my job. Uh, I I try to I really try to understand people and how they see things. Like, and a lot of people respect those things about me, right? And those are true aspects. But if I was just pretending, well, any of that would just be like a false admiration. It wouldn't truly be respect. And I think respect is what real relationships are truly based on. And I think if you don't have respect in a relationship, it's not a relationship. Whether it's a friend, a spouse, whatever it is, it's not a real relationship if there's no respect there.
For sure. And then it makes me think of Jesus
Mhm.
and his how he, conducted himself. I don't know if that's a word that you say, but how he basically how he related to the people. And um he never demanded respect. On the contrary, didn't he say something like, why do you call me good, or why do you call me teacher, or were those two separate verses?
I'd have to look at because I wouldn't I wouldn't wanna speak on scripture and not know what I'm saying.
I think it was like, yeah, no man is good, no one is good except the Father who is in heaven. and
Mm,
and then he said like, something about like, don't call me teacher. So they were trying to honor him, I guess, or give him, but he was so humble. I'm assuming, that's humility. um
mm.
and I think, what's the fine where's the fine line between wanting to demand respect, and then also, if I want to demand respect, is that like my ego? You know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
know.
I was looking at what you're saying. So I looked up some Bible verses. As Romans 3:10-12 says, "No one is righteous, not as it is written. No one is righteous, not one. No one understands. No one seeks for God. All have turned aside. Together they have been worthless. No one does good, not even one." And then in Psalms it says, "The fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They do abominable deeds. There is no one who does good." Um, so maybe it's that I mean, there's a lot of when I typed in what you said, there's a lot of different verses.
Versus, yeah. So
Yeah.
even Jesus was like,
Well,
when
Jesus
they
was
were
the most humble
right,
and deserving of respect. Um, because I mean, what he did spoke for itself. Right? He didn't have to shove it in people's faces. As a matter of fact, when people came to him and they didn't understand, he met them where they were and he put it in simple terms that allowed them to come to understand him in their own way. And I think that I think that that quality that he had is like I think a lot of times we personally we want people to understand us in a very specific way. We expect it. And that's
right,
not respect. That's not respect, and we're not receiving respect if we, like, demand a certain thing and someone just kinda bends to your will.
right,
We're receiving respect when, let's say, instead of me say, like, and this is just like a not a fictional thing. But let's say like I'm talking to my wife and I say to her, "You just don't um care about how hard I work, or you do I'm telling her you need to do this, so do it." Versus me and that's not, if she does it, if she just bends because that's just kind of what has to happen, it's not the same as if I say, "So what are the things you think that I, do?" Or I show her by doing those things. I show her through action, or I ask some questions that lead her to understand this is what I'm doing and this is what's going on. But me demanding respect from her, you can't demand respect from anyone. It has
Right.
to be given. And you can kind of show someone something, but it's up to that person whether or not they're going to recognize it. And most people, if you try to force that on them, they're going to just resist. Jesus didn't go around trying to force himself on everybody.
Yep. Exactly.
He walked the walk and he asked the right questions. Let me look
That's so
that
funny.
up.
That's so funny that you mentioned your wife, because I was gonna say exactly that. I was gonna mention my husband. I guess
Mhm.
because marriage teaches you, so much.
Mhm.
Mm, it's a crazy thing, marriage. Like you go from a well, me, and I'm not okay, maybe I am a little bit embarrassed to say this, but I'm not really embarrassed.
Mhm.
You go from living in your mom's house and your dad's house and your parents' house till you're like 20 something, like me when I got married in
Yeah.
my own room. I never moved out of my house. I'm assuming maybe because we were Mexican and you don't do that. Um so I lived with my parents my whole life, and then I got married, right?
Mhm.
And then your whole life changes and you're in this new place and you're sleeping next to your husband, and it's well, at least for me, it was like, what the heck? Anyway, your whole
Yeah.
life changes, and you're learning literally like a whole new language to live with this new person,
Mhm.
um day in and day out.
Mhm.
And the things that you don't find disrespectful, or the things that to you have been normal your entire life, now this other person, be it your husband or your wife, are like, Why are you doing this? No, this is the wrong way to do this," or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's been interesting, learning what respect means to my husband. I can't speak obviously for all men, but at least for my husband, it means specific things.
Mhm.
Um, the tone of my voice, how I ask things. I grew up with three brothers, and I was very used to being kind of like,
Blunt.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my husband is like, "No, no, no. You don't tell me to do things. You ask me. And if I want to do that, I can do that for you." And I was like, "Oh, man." So it was definitely a learning experience, but it's helped me as a woman become more feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been easier for me. And I'm like, this is like a whole new side of me that I'm barely getting to know. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, you're going from being a part of one family directly to going to be a part of another family, which honestly, from my I I think is kind of good. Like I'm in a lot of different households, and I look at the households of like Hispanic peoples, and I watch how they watch out for their kids, right? And like you were saying, you stayed with your parents until you got married, and honestly, I think that's commendable. I think that modernity and modern culture shame that and say that's not
Right.
good, and that you should get out and experience the world and
Yeah.
um, do all this. But I just I don't know. Like I respect that because that's old school culture. Like that's how everyone was at some point. Like
Right.
A daughter lived at home. You know, some of the guys would strike out on their own. A lot of them would join the military. A lot of them would kind of build up a skill set and resources until they could just outright buy their own house, and then they would move out. But like the daughters were like protected and like older culture, and I don't really get why people shame that. You know, like it's it's got to be it's got to be interesting and probably by design for you to be able to go from your family to your family.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to go out into the world and be like, I don't need anyone, because a lot of people try to make that like that's the only way you'll be happy, is like this hyper individualistic, I don't need anyone, I don't need no man, like all that feminism stuff.
Especially in women, yeah, that makes you into such like a manly female,
Well,
like
it
a
just
tough
make
woman.
and for a lot of women, I mean, my wife is a little more. She likes to work. She likes problem solving, so she's a little more kind of going to where she's likes to get out there and she likes to work. But
Right.
I think that if you're somebody that like you're open to being a mom and being a wife and like and really bonding, I think most women who I've met who are stay-at-home moms that really admire their husband and have respect for their husband are ultimately a lot more happy than the others, than the where you have the two income household, there's no kids, and they're bickering all the time about what to spend all that money on.
Right.
And it just really, I I don't know. Like we don't bicker over money like that. We have two incomes. Um, but I definitely see a happiness and a belonging and a security that comes with two people being all in, and they're being all in the fact of like the wife is looking at the husband and saying, I need you to have a roof over my head.
Right.
I
Right.
need you to have a roof over my children's head. And I think a lot of people in a modern culture, they say, "Well, what if he's a bad person?" Well, don't marry a bad person.
Exactly.
Like,
That's such, oh my God. Yes,
don't marry a bad
exactly.
person.
Why would you marry a bad person? Why would you marry a drug addict? Why would you marry a man that hits you? You know what I mean? All these women are like, well, you have to, yeah,
But
the you
they do that.
they do. It's wild to me. I don't get it. How
Yeah.
could you do that? What the heck?
Well, what's really funny is, and I don't want to throw shade at, I don't want to name anybody, but like that, there was that one time, I'm sure, I think you were there, where there was a certain person that came on Daniel's stream, and they started talking about their divorce and stuff, and how they're single now, and I I kind of like pushed back a little bit, and then they started to give me the whole,
The
well,
typical, yeah.
the typical, it's always, and look,
It's
like,
always domestic violence. It's always emotional abuse every single time. It never fails.
it's always something like that,
Yeah.
but the thing is like, usually they warn you right away, and I love that quote, "When someone tells you who they are, believe them."
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people get into relationships and, they know exactly what they're dealing with, but they wanna pretend like it's something else.
Yep.
And I think the reason that they wanna pretend like it's something else is they know how hard it will be and how much work they need to do on themselves
Mm-hmm.
to find what they really want.
And women don't want to hear that. Women don't, when the husband says, "No, I'm the head of this household. I'm the leader.
Mhm,
This is what I see that is wisest and better in the long run for this
mhm.
family. This is what we're going to do." They
Mhm.
don't want to sit down and shut up and listen. We just don't like that. You know what I mean? As human beings, I guess. And it is hard.
Well, the husband can make a choice about a husband can make a choice about something and not be so emotionally affected and overthinking it. So, like, in
Right.
a sense, sometimes with some of these decisions, the way guys are wired, it kind of protects you from a lot of neurotic
Mm-hmm.
worrying.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that in modern culture, like with social media and self comparison and just only seeing the best moments of other people's lives and constantly worrying about what other people are doing, a lot of women have gotten kind of addicted to that neurotic pattern, and they don't know how to be happy because they're always comparing themselves to other people. They're always worried about everyone outside of their household instead of the people that live in their household that are under their care or that they are under their care, and they wonder why they're not happy because they're looking elsewhere.
And not only that, but there's this, I'm probably going to butcher the word, but there's this like masochist feeling
Mhm.
of like feeling like the victim, or like feeling like I'm the, put upon woman. I'm the hardworking female that gives everything. You know,
Mhm.
what we've been brainwashed to believe, that women are these all good, all beautiful, all sacrificing females, that they just give and give and give and blah blah blah. And it feels good to feel like that, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm great and I'm giving so much and I'm sacrificing so much, blah blah. And you're constantly in that like victim mentality.
Yeah, women are it's crazy because women who want a traditional life and wanna have a family and stuff, they're told that they have to also be a boss and they also have to succeed at a job or and and, like
Yeah.
and and what's funny is they're like, "That's what's gonna make you happy." But then at the same time, there's mixed messages because then there's these other messages saying, "Yeah, but you should also resent your husband because it's not fair. Because you
Yep.
have to take care of the kids and you feel like you have to fulfill all these roles and you need to make money."
Yeah, that's
And it's like
wild.
your your anger shouldn't be pointed at your husband, it should be pointed at the economy and the people who are trying to make it impossible to survive on one income.
Right.
That's where your anger should be, but they don't want you to think about that, so they point you at each other and they want you at odds with each other, when really it's the people who set up the financial system and they've incentivized divorce, they've incentivized all of these things. They're
Single
trying to
motherhood. Yeah.
single motherhood, they glorify single motherhood, and the thing is like, Andrew, what's his name? Andrew, he's on whatever podcast. Andrew Wilson, he says this all the time, like that. He says that propaganda works the best on women. As a matter of fact, when propaganda gets sent out, it usually impacts the women, and the men to some capacity follow suit because they're seeing what they're seeing, like, kind of the direction of the culture or the influences
Mm-hmm.
that their wife are under, and they want their spouses, they want their daughters to be happy, their
Right.
sisters. So they want their female family to be happy because, like, that's kind of, like, encoded into guys, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess that we're in, but if we propagandized, like, having big families and financial responsibility across the board in the government, and like fair practices and like economies that actually work without a bunch of like thievery going on and waste and fraud, we would be able to just have harmony and have families. Are there still going to be women that end up with a husband that's a drunk or something
Of
and end up
course,
in a
yeah.
bad situation, of course. But you know, if we get enough people intact into a community where there's an actual community, there's going to be people there to fill the gap. There's going to be people who are going to, instead of having subsidized housing and all that, that mom and maybe her 2 kids, or hopefully she didn't stay with the guy long enough to end up with like 8 kids and then he just turns into an alcoholic or something. I think you very rarely see things like that. It's usually like you have maybe 1 or 2 kids and then you just realize, "Oh, this is not good." And if it's an abusive domestic situation, that kind of, but it never comes out of nowhere.
Right.
And that's where personal responsibility comes in, and like, the thing is like, you, like, it's a woman's job to choose well the man that she's gonna have children with.
Yeah, but how
It's the
often do
most
you hear
important job in
how,
society.
how often do you hear that being said, Jess? Like, how often have you heard somebody say, it's a woman's job to pick well? I'm going to tell you something. As a woman, I never heard that. I never heard that from anybody. I mean, I was raised in my household and I saw, my mom and my dad being a great example,
Mhm.
but not TVs, not books, not the teachers in middle school, high school, college, nothing. Nobody, not commercials, not the church, not the pastors. Nobody ever said that. I didn't hear that once. And I think that's a problem. Like, people don't want to say that because it puts responsibility on women's shoulders, and that's like unheard of.
Mhm.
Because then you're like, because then they're gonna say, are you victim blaming, blah blah blah. There's so much I could say about this, but going
All
back
the
to the
victim stuff is another problem.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, but going back to the respect thing, when it comes to men and women and marriages, the f- I do see how a wife staying home and raising the kids, when it comes to the respect aspect, is the best um scenario for the marriage, because
It's
she
best for
is,
both of them. Like, if it can be
yes,
done.
if it can be done, of course, if it
Yeah.
can be done. And because she depends on him, and the whole family depends on the man, and the man feels needed, and he's like, if I don't make this happen, it's not going to happen. He goes out there, and it's been scientifically proven, uh
Yeah.
the men's testosterone goes up when men are under pressure. So it's good for men to be a little bit stressed, or maybe a lot, I don't
Mhm.
know,
Well,
to uh-huh, go ahead.
oh, no, I was just gonna say, it makes me think about the fact that the, self-deletion issue that men have in society. I think that if you had way more households, men who are married and have a wife and a family at home depending on them, the likelihood of a man taking his own life goes down drastically, because he knows if he does that, that they're going to go without.
Yep.
Who's gonna
Yeah, of
be there to
course.
take care of them? So like, I feel like that's something that's very primal, and I feel like a lot of men, if they're not married, and like, obviously, like, culture can try to brainwash you all at once. Modernity can try to tell you all this nonsense, but at the core, like, men wanna be useful,
Yep.
and they want to provide. They, like, it's what they wanna do. But now it's, going back to the whole respect thing, like, respect is given, right? Appreciation for a man, and him being a provider, and him loving his family and being a leader, is given by that family to that man willingly.
Right. Right.
Whereas modern society says, "Oh, equal partners," and this and that, and there is some equality to some point, but I think the problem is it can become a tit for tat
Mm-hmm.
game, and it can kind of almost go back to the whole respect being given, and that you can't force it and you can't negotiate someone to respect you if you're not respectable. You can do all the negotiating and bargaining you want, but you can't force your wife to desire you, to respect you,
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
really love you.
Yep.
You have to be about it. And it's the same in everything.
And in their deepest, uh, if women would admit this, it would make things so much easier. But women desire a man that can take care of them, whether you're
Mhm.
making 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year,
Mhm.
80,000 a year. That doesn't matter. The number doesn't really matter. Um, but women desire that. That is a huge uh attractiveness, right? This man can
Yeah.
take care of me.
Mhm.
And and if that's gone, or even worse, if she's making more money than you or whatever,
Mhm.
and you're staying home with the kids, like what the heck? Of course people are gonna get divorced.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you would have to be a heck of a guy, right? There would have to be something. You'd have to be like I think that it could work. It could work in a certain way if all the kids are over a certain age, because
Yes. Yeah.
one of
Yeah,
the
for sure.
things is like when kids are under 10, under like 12, they need their mom and
Yeah,
they need
of
access to your
course.
mom all the time. I
Hmm.
could see someone being a stay-at-home dad and it being successful and good for the kids if um
They work from home or whatever. I
yeah,
think that would work.
it would really have to be like I feel like for it to make sense, the woman would have to be capable of something very special, and the kids would have to be over a certain age where it's very beneficial for them to just be with their dad all the time and to kind of learn life skills from him. So I could see a situation where once all the kids, the youngest kid is above a certain age, that dad could kind of raise them the rest of the way in some ways, but I feel
Right.
like the babies need their mom.
Right, of course.
It's just what it is. And people don't even seem to understand that, you know.
Yeah. At a certain age, and it's even better for the kids to, as they grow
Mhm.
up, for the kids to separate themselves a little bit from the mom,
Mhm.
especially the boys, and be a lot
Yeah.
closer to the dad, for sure. Yeah.
In Roman and Greek culture, the as soon as you were like 12, you're about to be a teen, you would go to work with your dad. Like you started working. Your
Right.
dad trained you up so that you could work and have a useful skill. And that just doesn't happen now. It's just like people just kind of they just kind of store their kids and hope for the best with the job market and whatever they choose to learn in college, which most colleges don't even teach you anything worth learning now. It's
Right.
ridiculous. I love what David said here. It's like sounds like these Christian women are gonna have to start taking us poor God fearing men, not rich demon worshippers. But you know, it's hilarious, David, because um Cecil was saying about like incomes. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched the Whatever podcast, but they ask these women
Yeah.
how about their
How much should
ideal
a guy
mate.
make?
And it's
And she's
always
like,
$100,000. It's always six figures or more. Some of them are like, he has to have a
wild.
million in the bank and this and that. And they're like, what do you do? I'm a waitress.
Or even worse,
Okay.
I'm an OnlyFans. I'm an
Yeah, I'm on
OnlyFans
OnlyFans.
model.
And
Yeah.
and then they'll say like, what skills do you bring to the table for like to run a household or for that caliber of man? And they'll be like, "Oh, I'm fun to be around," or I'm really experienced with sex and um I'm really good at it. And it's like,
Or they say something like, I
Dudes
would
don't care
support
how good
him.
you are at it. Like they would prefer you have no experience. Most dudes, if they were honest, would tell you that.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like so common sense. And or they're like, I would support him, I would help him. I'm really good with numbers, so I would organize his schedule, blah blah. And I'm like, bro, that's the last thing a husband would want from his
No.
wife, for her to be your freaking boss, telling you this and that at that time. And blah, like, come
I'll
on.
spend his money for him. What? What?
Yeah, it's wild. Well, I've told Zeden before that when I married my husband, he was not he did not make almost any money. He had a
Mhm,
job and he was a very hard worker and he did great at his job, but
mhm,
it was a very, very low paying job.
mhm.
And that had nothing to do with who I was marrying. Like, I was like, we're gonna have to figure it out. We're gonna have to pinch pennies and struggle for years, but I was marrying him, not like his bank account or his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're picking, yeah. But the thing is like people will pick a person who has a bunch of resources, but has no resources emotionally, intellectually, or spiritually.
Exactly. Yep.
And my beautiful daughter is. Oh, did you make this? Oh, my my daughter made. Is
Oh
it pumpkin
wow.
pie? She made
Wow.
pumpkin pie herself.
That
How
looks
many pies
amazing.
have you made in the past 24 hours? Just the one?
I made 2 in the past 48 hours.
2 in the past 48. Okay. Did Teddy get back to you about the pie? No. You haven't heard if he likes it or not. Oh. You can go to the Hike Campers. Do you have your phone on you? Do you have your watch?
I'm gonna get my watch on me.
All right. I need you to wear your watch when you go over there. Is it raining still?
Yeah. I'm
All
gonna
right.
ride my bike so I can get there fast. My bike.
Sure. Just don't track a bunch of water in their house, please.
Okay.
Wipe your feet.
Anyway, Emma. Emma, come here.
Love you guys. Bye. Just like come
I got a question.
come in the door like a bull in a china shop and then bring me pumpkin pie. So that's nice. Uh, oh my gosh. We gotta get David married. How old is David?
We have to get David married, man. I wish
Right?
I had sisters. I don't have any sisters or cousins.
I yeah. But how old is he? How
I'm
old is
assuming he's like 20 something. Is he 25 or something like that? I
he?
don't
He
know.
looks younger. Yeah, he looks on the young side. I don't know what he does for a living or like, but I know he's a solid guy for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be an amazing husband and father for
He's
sure.
very normal. He's not weird.
He's he's the least weird one out of all
He's
of
the
us.
least weird one of all the people. Like he
That's funny.
probably feels like a crazy person hanging out with all of us.
Yep. That's
He's
so
got
funny.
to. What's
I
up?
told
Tar Baby Yoda's on the stream. Look at
hey Darby Yoda. I told David that he has to move to a small town. Small towns
You
are
think
where
that's
it's
what it
at.
is? There's just like too much modernity and
Honestly, yes, I do, because um I I'm from a small town and the caliber and the quality of women is completely different. I'm not saying every single woman is a great wife, no, but there's a lot better chance that you will
are you
find a.
further south?
Yeah, I was raised in a small town on the border of Arizona, between Arizona and Mexico.
I feel like
There,
that's part of it though. I think that the further up north, just from personal experience, all the girls that I met when I was growing up on the coast, I was up northeast. Um, no, like they were just they were a mess. And but then when I got where I am now, which is more in the Midwest South, it's a different mentality with some of the women. Whereas like here, the ones that are really, really affected by modernity are mainly the like uh not religious people. Whereas like I feel like up north, even some of the religious people can get really affected by culture, by mainstream non-Christian culture.
Just it was so bad in the churches because the churches, Catholics and Protestants, and we were all close when I was growing up, the youth groups and stuff. And I was involved with youth groups and stuff like that. So I had a lot of friends, girlfriends, obviously, and it was so bad. They were in church, whether it was the Catholic church or the Protestant church or whatever,
Mhm.
and they wanted to get married, and they wanted a family to be wives, and
Yeah.
so many times the men, like the boyfriends from church, were the ones that didn't want to settle down. And this happened a lot, dude, on both sides of the border, in the Mexican churches
Mm.
and the United States churches. And I was just like, what is going on? So yes, these, at least in these small towns, and when I say small town, I don't mean like tiny town, you know what I mean? I mean not big cities, but definitely smaller towns and smaller cities, and they want to get married and they want to have children and they want to be housewives. But a lot of the men, the guys, young guys from church didn't want that.
Mm. Did
I
you
don't know
see this?
why.
See, Sal's gonna be surprised when she hears I'm Daniel's age. Uh-oh, brother.
Oh, I would never go on the whatever podcast. That's way too many eyes on me. I don't. That's so scary to me. Maybe because I've
What?
been doxxed before on
Oh, to go
YouTube.
on that podcast?
Yeah, it's so easy to get doxxed, dude. No.
Yeah.
Um, how old are you, David? I thought he was like 20 something, in his early 20s, I assumed.
My daughter's pumpkin pie is very good.
They were skirt. Yes, I think so, David, because that's one thing also that Christian families, like if you have the dad and the dad is working, the mom is a housewife. I can see how moms would baby their boys. You
Mhm.
have the perfect life at home. Why would
Mhm.
you want to become a man and have to go out there and hustle and be in charge of your own family when you're having, you're getting spoiled at your house?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm gonna be the sheriff in the small town. Yeah. Sweden is gonna
Oh my
go
gosh.
in there and cause
Can't even
trouble
spell border. The border
on
wall.
on the
Like you're
border
boarding a
wall.
ship.
I was born in California, Sweden. How many
Mm,
times do I have to say this?
my condolences.
I know. My parents met in San Diego. It was super romantic.
Aw. I think well, so how long ago did you meet your husband?
We we've been married for 5 years, going on 6 years. We met at work. We both worked at a nursing home,
Mhm.
and we were coworkers the first like the first year, I think,
Okay.
like year and a half. We were coworkers, and then we became friends. And yeah, he was an amazing coworker and an amazing friend.
Yeah.
And then he asked me to have dinner at Red Lobster, and I thought it was super fancy. I
That's
always hear
adorable.
Terry.
Yeah.
I always hear
Well,
Terry's voice. Ew, Red Lobster.
well, you know what's funny though is that's the whole meme. Like, if you take me to Red Lobster or any chain restaurant, you're a loser. And this is like if you don't make six figures and take me to some like local best restaurant in town, like the entitlement is absolutely
Wild.
ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
wild. So, when you met your husband, were you on social media a lot? Like, were you a big social media person?
No, actually, I had uh, for a few years I did have social media, and started hanging out with people that weren't really Christian, or they weren't as
Mhm,
Christian as they said they were.
mhm.
And I was like, wow, this lifestyle is completely different. And I can see how people paint it to be, like going out partying and stuff. They paint it to, but I can see through them. Like I see these people and they're all miserable. They're depressed. I can tell that they're trying to drink away their sorrows.
Yeah,
And Red Lobster is good. Red Lobster is super good. But
yeah.
and then I stopped all of that. I was like, no, this is not of God. This is not right. I'm not going to do this. And if God has a husband for me, so be it. And if I never get married, even though I've always wanted to have children and be married, if that's not God's plan for me, it's whatever. I'm not gonna look, for a man or nothing. None of that. So
Mm,
when I met my husband, I already knew that I wasn't going to be dating or going out on dates or talking to people, to guys or anything like that.
mm,
So, but he was my friend first, and in my book, he was a better Christian than I was. Like he went to church Saturday and Sunday, and he
yeah.
and he played in the worship team, and he was the most amazing guy ever. And I looked up to him like automatically. His work ethic too. I was like,
Mm,
man, this guy freaking. And and he and we went on a couple of dates, and he said, he was like, you know what, if nothing ever happens, between us or whatever, it's fine. If whatever happens, I'm always going to be here for you. I'm always going to be your friend. You can always count on me.
mhm.
And I was like, oh dang, because as a woman, it's very normal for men to try to like use you, or they want you for a specific thing,
Mm.
not really, for you, or as a wife, or as a whatever. It's kind of starts becoming kind of common to be careful, like, this guy, does he want me? Because is he talking to me for a real reason, or is he just a user? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is that, like, most, like, modern type women, like your typical woman, would hear that and be like, "Oh, cool, I can just put him in my back pocket for later, like, he'll be there he'll be there in case I don't find something better." I see that behavior a lot. So the fact that you just saw that and valued that right away says a lot about your character, because a lot of women just they hear a guy say something like that and they're like, "Cool, I'll bookmark you for later."
Huh, I had
And
never thought about that.
yeah, a lot of women friend zone guys because they're like, "Oh, he's going to be there for me no matter what." I'm gonna find somebody. Usually, it's because they came up in a messed up family, so they're trying to
Right.
find someone who's more like their dad.
Mm,
And so,
that makes
so,
sense.
so girls like that will keep a guy like that, like your husband, on the hook, so she can like come back to him later if other things don't work out. It's crazy how much I've seen that play out.
That's wild. No,
Yeah,
when he said that, I immediately was like, oh, this is a keeper. Like
yeah,
he's not asking anything
because
from
you're a
me?
functional, normal person that came up in an intact family.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had kids before him? Were you married before him?
What? No.
Oh, I thought you said you had kids.
No, 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 no.
Oh, I was like, "What?"
No,
I so
no.
misheard you. What were you saying about children? Or did
I
you
don't know
even
what I
I
was.
might have just heard that in my head.
I don't know. No,
Okay.
no, we got married, and then
Was he your first real boyfriend?
um yeah, well, when I was younger, I had kind of like a boyfriend, but I mean, we went to church to get there. He was Christian, and I think I was too young. He proposed, but I I knew like deep down in my heart I was like, no, this is not it. And then I dated like two other guys for like a year, also, going to church together, reading the Bible together, getting to know each other. And I could tell. There was just something I was like, no, this is not it. And they were really great guys, but it wasn't the right thing.
Yeah.
And thank God, thank God every day that I waited,
Yeah.
that I didn't rush into anything, because it's easy to rush into stuff.
So he was your first serious boyfriend and you married him. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Like
Yeah.
you didn't form a bunch of random attachments just trying things out. And I mean, I think so many people, they do that and they play house, they move in together.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's why I was saying it felt weird. It felt like I've been living in my own bedroom, in my own bed, with my
Yeah.
things around me for my whole life. And
Yeah.
then here I am in bed with my new husband. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like, what the heck?
Well, I would hope for my daughter that she could go straight from us to her husband. Like I would hope I would see that as a good thing. Like so many people want to like kick their kid out into the world and have them like learn how to be super individualistic, and it's like, how is that going to teach them to have a family or be good at being in a family? Or like, shouldn't we all be wanting to have kids and having grandkids? And
Right.
don't you want that? I mean, I want that. I want grandchildren.
Right, right, for sure. I think it's the job of the parents to train them, teach them,
Hmm.
and prepare them, maybe with a little savings account that will
Hmm.
have a little bit of money for them to kind of get started,
Hmm.
whether it's for college or for a trade. I would prefer my son to like go into a trade or the military, something like that that's very focused on your discipline and your work ethic, as opposed
Hmm.
to college, as opposed to university. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like welding, electrician. Like
Right.
we need so many people in those specialized labor forces. There's just not enough, and it's like everybody wants a job where they sit in an office.
Mm-hmm.
Like eating candy out of the candy dish, and you
Well,
know what I mean?
my husband had an office job actually, and he hated it. He was like, "Nah, this is
I
not
like
for
to be
me."
outside. Yeah,
Yeah, he likes to be outside.
yeah,
I like to bake.
yeah. I know you like to bake, baby.
I love to bake. Oh my God, I love baking so much. I remember when I was like 15, I learned
Mhm.
how to bake and make cheesecakes and stuff, and my brothers had to beg me. They were like, "Please stop making," because they were gaining weight. Because I was so happy making cheesecakes and pineapple upside downs and stuff like
Yeah,
that. They were like, "No, no more."
they should like teach girls that like it's great to make sure he's fed and he's got fuel, and that you spoil him a little bit sometimes and maybe make his favorite things, but you don't want to overfeed him and have him be miserable on the other end of that.
Yeah. It's just
Yep.
something about baking. It's so relaxing. It's
Yeah.
so, I don't know, it's precise, and
Hmm.
then it's amazing. I don't know. Yeah, I love cooking. Cooking and baking.
My daughter's baking like all the time. Like she's made 2 pies in 48 hours and made like little mini pies. She made her little friend from church apple pie and he wasn't feeling well, but she made him an apple pie for his birthday. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's so sweet.
she's a good kid.
She sounds like a great kid. And those are some of the best memories. I still remember my mom teaching me, like, you want to learn how to make a blueberry cheesecake? And I was like, sure. And her teaching me, and then me baking but on my own, having so much fun. And
Hmm.
I correlate that with directly with my mom. So those are some of
Hmm.
the best memories.
Yeah, I really like at our church. There's a lot of ladies that love to work in the kitchen, and sometimes I just want to send Annabelle over there, help them cook and stuff
Yeah.
to learn from because oh my gosh, the way they season the food is so good. They're so good at seasoning. They make food. They make like big meals all the time for the whole church.
Oh wow.
It's really cool. I've never been a part of a church that does stuff because usually it's like a potluck. Like
Right.
everybody just brings whatever, but like no, you got like the Navy SEALs of cooking in that kitchen. I mean, that kitchen's no joke for sure. But anyway, what were we talking about before?
Mm.
And just like mainly about respect. But I think it all kind of comes back to respect, right? Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that you showed respect to yourself by choosing to do things the way you did and trusting the way your parents came up. And I think a lot of people are like, well, we're in this world now. We don't need to worry about respect and stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like they think they've figured it out or they think they've reinvented it, but they don't understand that like your parents and grandparents and great grandparents, they were on to something and you
They
should
knew
probably
what
keep doing
exactly.
that thing.
Yeah,
You
they
sh
knew what
you
they were doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, and, like, it was common sense that was figured out from years and years of experience and generations, and now, all of a sudden, in this, like, current meta that we're in, people are just trying to scrap everything. It's almost like I don't know, it's almost like some kinda communist thing where it's, like, trying to destroy any semblance of what a family is. They're trying to they're trying to destroy what a man is. They're trying to destroy what a woman is. And they're messing with these roles when they were working perfectly fine for thousands of years.
Exactly.
Now they want to like try to re-engineer people and do all that kind of stuff. It's
Isn't it
wild.
isn't it ironic that now today when it's like the freest, freedom to do whatever you want, anything goes sexually,
Hmm.
socially, emotionally,
Hmm.
anything goes is when we're the most miserable. By we, I mean like human beings, no Americans or whatever, the Western
Yeah.
world. But when there were clear delineated, clear rules and lines of
Yeah.
you're
Like
gonna be
bumpers.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like
You're going to
guardrails.
be raised in a family with your household. You're going to obey your father, respect your father, obey your
Hmm.
mother, going to church every Sunday. You can't be out partying. You can't be out sleeping around. You can't blah, blah, blah. Clear rules. The results speak or spoke for themselves.
Hmm. And if you look at the movies, like you look at movies, you look at mainstream and what the world is trying to tell us. It's like, no, just crash through the guardrail and go in the ditch. It's cool. It's cool to do that. It's cool to
Mm-hmm.
ruin your life. It's
Mm-hmm.
cool to ruin yourself. It's cool to ruin any semblance of respect you could have for yourself. It's cool to devalue and debase yourself. It, it's it's cool to disrespect the person who's your lifeline, who's your partner. All that's
Right.
good. And like you see even on social media, that's why I was kind of asking about the social media stuff because I was wondering if you were on social media when you first met your husband because I think a lot of women get hoodwinked by like this whole idea of being bossy and like it's cute to be a problem and it's cute to argue and fight with people. It's cute to cause drama. Like it makes you interesting. But
So crazy.
in real life, it's like, no, it makes people not want to be around you. And we should bring that
Exactly.
shaming back. Like, No
Yeah.
one wants to be around that. No one wants to be around you treating people like that. No one wants to be around you being angry all the time and blaming other people for your problems. But yet here we are, like me, the dream just continues to romanticize that.
The Bible says they will call good evil and they will call evil good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the upside down world, literally. It is
Mm-hmm.
what we're living in today. You know, people don't believe me when I tell them that when I growing up, I never saw my parents fighting or arguing, not even once, not one single time.
They probably did, but just
Of
never in front of
course,
you. Yeah.
exactly. That's the way, it should be. I never saw my
Mhm.
mother disrespecting my father. That was wild. Of course not.
Yeah. 'Cause you don't want to teach your kids to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, you
Yeah.
must have triggered some people. We went down to 0 as soon as you said that women shouldn't disrespect the father. Oh man.
Oops.
Oh, you hurt somebody right in their feelings. Bond was probably watching, and
The lurkers.
the lurker. Oh my gosh, that was so funny when I kicked him. I bet you Daniel's back. I might pop on his stream and see.
That was hilarious.
Oh, that's so funny when I just banned Bond. Let's see, is he back? Is he here? No, it's still his music.
I
Coming
thought that
soon. They're all waiting. There's 3 people over there.
I
Okay.
thought Daniel said that he was gonna take like an hour. I was like, wait, what? An hour of music? What the heck?
Um, let's see. When did you write that? Where are all your videos? I know. I deleted all my old stuff.
Why?
I don't know. Just felt like doing it one day. Um, Daniel just said coming soon, just grabbing something to eat, and then I'll be on.
Oh, that makes sense.
Now I know where that 0 came from. I'm like, open panel, open panel. They want to watch there is something compelling, right? Like Daniel's this like a pretty interesting guy. And then sometimes even I find myself being a little bit fascinated. Like I'll be watching a stream and someone comes on and I know what that person's like. And I'm like, how's Daniel going to deal with this person? Like you're kind of like looking at it like, what's he going to do? How's he how's he going to deal with that?
And most of the time, he doesn't deal with it the way I would like for him to deal with it. Most of the time, he's so nice. I'm like, no, Daniel.
You should tell him he needs to just keep you in the back room or whatever on the stream and just give you privileges to kick people and his open panels would be a lot better.
I wish. No, he would never do that.
And
He's
like when
too.
you kick someone it'll just go Cecil has spoken and then they're gone.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be so funny.
It would be pretty funny for sure. I guess I'll probably shut it down and get ready to pop on
Yeah,
there at least passively listen. I don't want to. If he's having a panel, I'd definitely love to be a part of it. Uh, what happened to David doing a panel today? Did he decide not to do it?
that's true, huh? I don't know. I hope he does. I'll see if he does. That'd be cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
but thank you for letting me on here. Awesome
Hey,
conversation.
yeah, it was really cool. Let's see. Tar Baby Yoda's favorite story about Daniel.
Oh
Is
gosh.
is this the one where he had to pull a gun on a guy? Because I've heard the story.
No, well, I was there in the live chat during part of this story, I think.
Yeah,
So, Gigi's channel gets insane.
yeah.
So I'm
I
glad he told.
I had a yeah, I know Daniel's been in a self-defense situation. I had a situation where I didn't have a weapon on me, and I had a guy jump me while I was doing it while I was doing an inspection on one of these row homes in Washington D.C.
Wow.
and the guy hit me over the head with like a empty 40
Oh
and
my
broke it over
God.
my head. And I turn around and I let's see, I write it different every time for the laughs. I turn around and I had a long screwdriver and I just like stabbed the hell out of the guy with the screwdriver.
Oh
He
my
didn't
God.
he didn't die, but he popped a lung, and his family tried to like sue the company I worked for. Um,
Wow.
but they like, they didn't charge me or anything. He assaulted me first. They charged him with assault. And yeah, that was a crazy situation. But yeah, like every time I hold a really long screwdriver, I think about that, and that's a little weird. But yeah, that was a crazy experience because like he followed me down the steps and I heard him walking on the steps behind me. I turned around and he just smashed me right over the head with that thing. That's all I had in
That's
my hand. And I basically got him right in the chest. Luckily, I didn't hit his
jeez.
heart. I just hit like the corner of his lung. And it popped that lung. And then he grabbed a hold of me and we kind of rolled down the steps together, and ended up on the floor. And I kind of like managed to kind of pin him down and then run out of the place. I started screaming for people to call the cops, but there was like no one out there, and everyone that was out, like there was no one out there that was being helpful. Like there
Mm,
were some people kind of standing on the corner, but it was that kind of neighborhood where like no one's calling the cops. So like I had to
wow.
get back to my truck. I left my phone in my truck. And like I was so freaked out, my hands were shaking. I couldn't even get the door open. It took me like 2 minutes to breathe and calm down to be able to get the key in the door. That's how much my adrenaline was going. And then the cops came, and I thought I was freaked out because I thought I killed the guy. I thought he was dead, but he just passed out because his lung collapsed. And and then they took him, and then his family tried to sue the company I worked for, and it was just a whole thing. It was crazy. But he was just I don't know. I don't think he was there to rob me. He didn't ask me for anything. He didn't say anything. He just followed me in there and attacked me. It was
That's
so
insane.
weird. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll shut it down. Let's see what he say. Once upon a time.
Oh my God, Tarbibio. Dude,
Yeah.
I never know
Oh
what to
gosh, now he's gonna like me because
I
I don't
never
think it's good though. Like no one wants to hurt another person. I just I did what I had to do. I was, I was freaked out. The guy was really out of it. He was on something. All right. For example, I'm not reading that.
He's like, read my story. Oh
Let's
my
see.
God. That's too much.
Put it. He put it right to his head, I think, right? I forget how the whole story goes. Yeah. But we don't ever want to put ourselves in that situation. I wouldn't want to. I kind of think about it now. Like I would do it again in a heartbeat, especially if like I had one of my kids with me and someone attacked us, and if I have to stick you with something, that's what's going to happen. Um, is that going to? I'm going to take care of my kids and my family and defend myself because I'm going to go home at the end of the day and be there for my family. That's what you got to do. And
Right.
people don't understand that. They're like, "Well, that's not Christian. That's not nice." But it's like when it comes to me getting home to my family,
That's
like
the priority.
that's the priority,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so many people say I would never do that, and I know in my faith, like if I did end up having to defend myself and someone lost their life, like I wouldn't be able to take communion for a certain amount of time. And that would really suck. So I think I would be a lot more responsible about like trying not to let it happen, I guess.
Right.
Um, Showing more restraint, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to save my life so that I can get home to my family. That's what a man does.
Right. I do love Andrew Wilson that he does say, um Andrew Wilson says like the cult of too nice. Like you have to be, if you're a Christian
Hmm.
or any religious denomination or blah blah, you've got to be too nice. And they have stripped the manhood and the toughness away from men, especially in the churches. I've seen that with my own eyes, how women would dominate, and control,
Hmm.
and the men can't be men.
Oh, the women become pastors, and they have
Yeah.
more, and they already had more influence over their church than their own husband, who is the pastor, and now they're
It
also a pastor.
It's so horrible, dude. It gets so bad. I know personally people in churches back home in Arizona.
Hmm.
The wife cheated on her husband with another man from church. The both couples are in church, okay?
Yeah.
And not only is the husband not allowed to go over there and freaking beat up the guy, which I think would be completely fair, but the church does not let them move away from to a different church. I was like, okay, so you cheated, now you have to, repair your marriage. Obviously, you're not staying in the same church with the man that you cheated with, right? Like obviously, and no, they stay there. Like the men have been that, what's the
Hmm.
word?
Emasculated.
Emasculated, exactly. That emasculated. Can you imagine going to church every Sunday, seeing the man that your wife cheated on you with every Sunday,
Yeah,
dude?
and they don't even think about that before they do it. They're thinking about their feelings and what I just don't feel listened to or whatever it is. It's like, then maybe you should say something more interesting, or
No, no,
maybe
no.
you
Let me
should think
tell
about how
no,
you communicate if you
n-
feel like you're not being heard.
no. Let me tell you what happened. This woman, this Christian woman, cheated on her husband because he started working nights. He started working nights, and she was like, well, I never see you anymore, we never spend time together, blah blah. And this girl was raised just like me in the church, mother and father. Well, no, the difference is that her parents, her mom was always the boss. That is the difference. They were both Hispanic and everything, but
Mm.
her mom was the boss and stuff like that. And yeah, she cheated. I mean, he only worked nights like 2 months. It took her 2 months to cheat on her husband, and they had just gotten married too. So it was a whole mess. But he's still there. They're still there in that
And
church,
she
dude. But
obviously wasn't raised just like you, if that's the case.
I guess not. It's
There's
horrible.
no
And I'm
way.
like, these poor men, dude. These poor men. Why? It's literally abuse. That's like abuse, that you're making your husband go to a church where he has to see the man that you cheated on him with. That's
Mm.
filthy, dude. That's evil.
Daniel is opening the panel, so I'm gonna shut it down.
Awesome.
I'll see you over there.
Okay, okay, bye.
All right, it was good chatting. I'll see you.
Same here. Bye.